Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Helldivers 2 video. Today we have so much to go over, including a new Warbond and the huge patch that is incoming very soon. But first let's start with the war updates. Today we have quite a few things to go over when it comes to the war itself. We have a couple dispatch messages to go over. The first one being strategic update. ACF pass has fallen to the automatons and its SIEF training facilities have been destroyed. SIEF defense efforts have been weakened further. So obviously I think this was a day or two ago we sort of got the message to go protect AC's pass during the major order that was currently going on, and we unfortunately lost it. So that means we're going to have a bit of a debuff at the moment because we've just lost one of our SIEF training facilities. But luckily that's the last of the bad news, because as you can see here, Major Order 1, the Helldivers have cleansed the Terminids from many worlds, undoing much of the crisis forced upon our citizens by their mutated super colony. Then if you go over to the map, you have a success briefing. It continues on saying they still infest much of the territory outside the quarantine zone, and spore levels are still far higher than they were pre-super colony. But with this victory, our citizens can begin resettlement of the homes they were forced to abandon. So congrats everyone, we won the major order, something I was actually not expecting, but when I logged on last night I saw that we were making good progress. So yeah, really surprised. If you look at the Terminid front, it is bare bones. So we're doing well against the Terminids. And with that, of course, we have a new major order. The full briefing states, while the super colony diverted our attention, the Automaton Legion has continued to spread their oppressive regime. Unhindered, they have ruthlessly colonized and exploited the resources of planet after planet, single-mindedly focused on increasing their military might. Furthermore, many gaps remain in our military intelligence regarding the automatons. The originating location of the invasion fleet is yet unknown. The automatons' focus on Cybersand remains unexplained, save for wild speculation. As for the automatons' ultimate objective, that could not be more clear. It is the utter destruction of our way of life. Their rigid programming cannot tolerate our unbridled freedom. However, our analysts have identified a large automaton data center, codenamed Database 1, deep within automaton territory. It is protected by exceptionally robust encryption protocols. Whatever data is stored there, much effort has been expended to keep it hidden. The Helldivers are ordered to liberate the planet, capturing Database 1 and allowing manual extraction of the data. With the super colony finally destroyed, the end of the automaton's illegal occupation is within our grasp. Our valiant resistance begins today. So as you can see, the main major order right now is to liberate Wassard. I don't know why I pronounced it that way. I'll be honest, I read it for the first time just then and yeah, wow. I'm still yet to have my morning coffee, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! Alright, I've taken a sip, I'll calm down. As you can see is this green planet right here. Very interesting looking world, and honestly, and I know I haven't gotten to it yet, but the new Warbond included some jungle planets that I don't think we've seen. This, from the outside looking in, kind of looks like it could be that new jungle biome, so let's see if that's the case. Perhaps that's why this is the new major order. They want us to go to this jungle planet and use the new Warbond, which has jungle themed things in it. But yes, that is the new major order. We have a strategic guidance message here saying Super Earth High Command advises all Helldivers that the shortest path to liberating Wassard, the target of the current major order, is through the following system: Wazen, then Vega Bay, then finally Wassard itself. High Command offers this guidance in order to conserve Helldivers' critical decision-making effort for use on the battlefield itself. I'm not sure if that's a little bit of a roast or not, but there you go, because this is very important information, because it's basically telling us where the supply lines are, what planets we should be liberating, because as a little peek-see, we're getting some supply lines in the new patch, but we'll go into more detail later about that. So as I previously mentioned, we are getting a new Warbond called the Viper Commandos. It's arriving on June 13th, and it involves a lot of jungle-themed assets. First off, we're getting some new weapons. For primary, we're getting a new version of the Liberator, the AR-23A Liberator Carbine. This one has a modified, shortened form factor that handles differently from the true classic, with a bit higher recoil but faster handling that feels perfect for spraying and praying up close. And with that, we're also getting a new secondary. We're getting the new SG-22 Bushwhacker triple barrel sawed-off shotgun. My goodness, what a mouthful. This has two different firing modes, including one that fires all three barrels at once. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's right, we're getting a sawed-off shotgun as a secondary and a new AR as a primary, which is pretty cool, honestly. This is definitely a massive upgrade from the previous major order we got, which was quite underwhelming, especially when it came to the weapons. We're also getting some new armor. We're getting PH-9 Predator, inspired by a veteran of the Viper Commandos who was said to have held off an entire Terminid brood with nothing but a machine gun, pocket knife, and orbital laser. And you can see it here. It has like a cool skull mask. It's got a red beret, you know, his sleeveless arms. Like, come on. This is very like Vietnam, Aliens versus Predator. Very much enjoy the look of this armor. We're also getting the PH-202 Twig Snapper, which is the heavy armor variant for this Warbond. And of course, they both come with capes. More interestingly though, we're getting patterns, which is brand new. We are getting patterns for the exosuits, Pelican 1, and the drop pod itself, or the Hell pod rather. Now obviously they've talked about not doing, you know, transmogging in the game. They've talked about not being able to move passive abilities for an armor set to a different armor set. That wouldn't make sense. They want the armor to look like what it's meant to do. You know, when an armor says it's explosive resistant, it wants it to look like a heavy padded sort of demolition looking armor with, you know, some orange markings to say it's like a demo armor kind of thing. That won't change, but these patterns are really cool. It gives us some more customization options for various other things that we use in the battlefield. So I'll definitely be using these when we, you know, get onto jungle planets, especially these new looking biomes in these pictures and in this trailer. I'm thinking Wasat might be actually a jungle planet, but we'll see. We've still got quite a few days until the new Warbond comes out. I might be wrong about that actually now looking at the date, but I can always speculate. I've been doing that since day one. We're also getting a new utility item, the throwing knife. And honestly, I saw that and went, no one's gonna like that. It's cool in theory, but I don't see a use for it. Perhaps if we got melee weaponry, like we got a weird like sword or machete that we could, you know, get up and close against Terminids or automatons, maybe the throwing knife might be a bit better in that regard. But it's still cool, it fits the theme obviously. I just don't see a real use for it, so not entirely excited about the throwing knife, but everything else so far in this Warbond is looking massive. We're also getting a new booster called Experimental Infusion, which gives your stims the added bonus of boosting your movement speed and reducing the damage you take for a short time. Oh my god. We're getting drugs. Ladies and gentlemen, they're giving us performance enhancing drugs. What could go wrong? And obviously we're getting the usual stuff like player cards and emotes as well as a new player title which has a cool like camo logo called Viper Commando, which I really like. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but you know, I always keep going on about maybe getting a Warbond, maybe getting this Warbond, you know, when it comes out I get hyped and then I actually sit down and look at it. I'm like, no, I'll miss out on that one. This one is the one, because that new Liberator carbine, that sawed-off shotgun, the patterns, there's just a lot of new stuff in here that we don't have in other Warbonds that are just extremely cool and unique to this Warbond that I feel like it's worth it. So this one, I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to do it. I'm going to bite the bullet. I'm finally going to get a new Warbond after God knows how long. But it's very cool. I like everything in this Warbond. Let me know in the comments down below if you're going to pick it up. If you're not, let me know what you think of everything in this Warbond. And now let's get into the patch. We have a new announcement. Now, the patch isn't out, but it is coming very soon, probably next week. But we have this little announcement from Twinbeard over on the Discord saying, so about that patch, here's a little something. It's Friday after all. Have a great weekend, divers. And he posted this meme saying, patrols and spawn rate reverted. Very cool, very cool. Visible supply lines and attack origins. Now we're talking. I've been asking for that for months. Invite only lobbies, super samples at level 6, unlimited grenade fix, over 100 changes and fixes. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the biggest patch that will be coming to Helldivers yet. And honestly, it cannot come at a better time because obviously we have the Illuminate potentially coming down through this wormhole black hole thing. And I think the reason we haven't seen a new faction yet or new enemy types yet might be because that they want to do this patch first, which I totally understand. New content will bring more people back into the game or new people into the game for the first time. So if the game's not up to scratch in terms of balancing, in terms of, you know, what's already there, then of course you don't want to bring people in and get frustrated at the changes that they wanted fixed are still not fixed. So the balance patch will come before any new content like the Illumina or new enemy types, I I feel. Could be next Tuesday, could be next weekend, but I think next week is when the balance patch is coming, and it's going to be huge when it eventually does. A lot of improvements for this game that people have been asking for a long time. Supply lines is what I'm most hyped about, as well as the attack direction and attack origin, so we can see where, you know, enemy factions are attacking us from, which planet, where their forces are sort of coming from. Very, very cool. It's just going to make the map look much cleaner, much nicer to look at. It's also going to give us more options in terms of strategy, in terms of tactics, directing the community in the right direction, especially in those moments where we don't have a major order to direct us. You know, we had that couple days where after Meridia we didn't have anything, and we were getting strategic updates, but, you know, maybe people don't read those dispatch messages, maybe people don't want to do them, so they can then decide where they want to go, determining from supply lines and attack origins and stuff on the map. Invite only lobbies is huge as well. It's a bit weird to have either public, you know, open to everyone, or just friends only, especially if you have a lot of friends on Steam like I do. You can have random people join your game from your own friends list that you maybe don't want to have in there for whatever reason. Maybe you've already got a group of 4 and you're waiting for people to slowly come in from invites and stuff, and then, you know, some random friend of yours on Steam joins. Not ideal, so invite lobbies is huge. Super samples at level 6 is great for solo players and even duos. I mostly play on level 7 difficulty a lot of the time. Maybe I'll drop it down to 5 or 6 every now and again if I just want a more chill experience. But I know for a lot of people, especially solos and duos, they want to, you know, lower the difficulty. They want to have an easier time with it. But then they don't have access to super samples, which they need to upgrade their ship modules and everything else. So they can't actually fully complete, quote unquote, the game, or at least the unlocks for the game, because they don't want to play a difficulty that they find too hard. So dropping it down to level 6, great option, because it makes level 7 onwards basically like a hardcore mode for players. Players that are seeking harder, challenging, more frantic action, but it's purely an option. It's no longer people having to go to that harder difficulty, which they might not actually have fun with, just to get a super sample or 2 or 3. So I think this is a really good change. I find it funny that they're reverting the patrols and spawn rates. They've realized, oh, you know what, we can't fix this. We shouldn't have fixed it in the first place. We're just going to put it back to how it was before, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of deal. So very cool to see that, you know, Arrowhead are moving in the right direction. There's so many exciting things happening in the game right now, which is great to see after all the drama. So really keen to see what happens next week, especially whether we start to see the Illuminate, when we get to see the new Warbond, when the new patch drops. Everything's happening in Helldivers right now. It's very, very cool. Very excited. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys are most excited for. Are you excited for, you know, new major orders? Are you excited for the new Warbond? Are you excited for the huge patch that's incoming? Let me know in the comments down below. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more Helldivers 2 content. Become a member today if you want to help me in another way. You'll get early access to videos and live streams. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!